Hey, this is Steve. Just another check-in at this computer. So, alright, 12 domains live. Remainder is complex blocked here. Migrate in live product, yeah, override generation system, SQS, media code. Alright, cool. Test plus, or text and image generation, CRUD domain, all verified. What remains? Exports, block, OAuth, direct for the product. I can't, alright, that's fine. And then projects, so it should have done this. Okay, alright. So, also, here it's kind of wondering if I think the whole URL change the API or something. All right, it's fine. I'm just gonna roll with it. Check in. It looks like Claude. Okay, it looks like it added the product API and the generation for some things in the product API and fixed YouTube redirect. I do have the redirect URIs, so I need to go and add them into each of these social media platforms, I think, in my admin mode. And then just said something along the same stuff, maybe repeating what it wrote before, and then listing some of the same tasks that get a little nudge to try to complete their main task without stopping. Judging from the way things are going, that it will insist on stopping. But I mean, I'm glad it did that one time. I caught the issue with it not API. Hey, just an update. There was some kind of mix-up with the org name. Claude thought it should be near a core, and I originally suggested near labs, but I was like, yeah, you could do whatever you suggest, or something, whatever the industry standard is. And so it started suggesting all this near core stuff for the org. I don't want to create another org. So then it did their renaming, and then it completed, did like a status check where it said the backend foundation is fully complete. And there's 3 workflows and packages. And they're publishing the GitHub packages, so that's good. Technically, and then the next update, it lists the 3, like the packages here. Talks about fixing the naming convention fix, the GitHub packages we talked about, and then he started the UI, and we talked about this, cleaning these before. So this is just like a status recap, and then this was like the original thing, so it's like, I guess, listing in descending order. And it sent me this at like 12 a.m. last night, and I think I was on my phone. I tried to get it to proceed, but it didn't work. So I was expecting to see the next step done. So I'll check in next update. So I was looking out on GitHub, and you can see under, if you go to Near Labs, well, you can't do this, but and then go to packages, and then because it's all private, so you can't see it, but there's a VisualForge platform. So I install it like this, and this will be all the core stuff. I'm assuming all the core packages will be inside here. So this is like, and it's got some documentation here, which is pretty cool. All right, that's it. Just stopped like a couple minutes into it, saying kind of like, I think, what it's going to work on next. So it's like the UI increment 2, and then UI core pages, and the VisualForge repo. Okay, there's some questions here about the UI building blocks. Currently, get the API base URL by importing that's config, since config stays in the app. Should the package receive the config API? Alright, that's fine. Contact provider or init function package exports config near a UI. And so it says startups. Props on providers. I'll just go with the recommended on this. It did another checkpoint, and I don't know why it's deciding to stop. It it did this like one fix that it noticed it had to do. I think this is just phase 1, increment 2 was cheat. It says it's cheat up. I think it said this before, and I told it to proceed. It says it's stopping because it made a mistake. Careful refactor. I don't think these refactors are really hard though, because it's just this referencing the same libraries. So map to phases in this. So here's that document it's referring to. Phases 1 through 9. Wow. And it's only on phase 1, increment 2. I'm the second day into it. All right, it created the new repo and published it with the, I guess, the project skeleton it's calling it. UI increment 2, the building blocks 10 files and the configuration injection. That's probably like just all the baseline stuff. And then increment 3, auth and payment core pages with lazy import. Cool. I'm glad it's keeping the CSS in mind. I'm using Bootstrap for that, so that shouldn't be a huge task. Publish all 4 packages. I guess there's CSS on the module level too, so that might be a bit of work. Create Neuro Labs, VisualForge private good. So we probably can see like Neuro Core. So let me get in here. This VisualForge. Yep, here it is. So this is the project skeleton. Guess it's not that much for the UI. But really, it's supposed to be a Vite package, yeah, so I don't know. I was expecting to see some more here, maybe, but who knows? That's fine. It just basically created the repo. It's like overselling. So, whole picture. Backend packages, publish, UI building blocks, done. UI auth and building pages, done. Publish packages. Alright, another update of the same stuff. Okay, there's some things here with prerequisites, I guess. Um, all right, so I'm going to implement. All right, so it's saying the remaining work is actual migration. It's phase 6, moving the product core out of Nero core. Get cleanly start until 3 and 4 are done. Needs a SSM contract to read core IDs. An API gateway, okay. Do you need anything from me? I don't know why did it stop? It's not even a blocker. All right, so this is what I'm gonna do. I like researched the solution for this. One second. Okay, this thing, Autumn, this was just released because it's June now. I mean, I guess I should have been more up to date and saw this earlier. I don't know. And this resume another session. And I'm assuming I can update the Claude MD between sessions. So it's saying, put this. Can you put this in the Claude MD? Okay, so it's saying about my other question. Resume. Yeah, that's what I meant. I want to combine them. All right, cool. So this should help. I don't really know how to exit. I'm just going to kill it. Here, let me open another one first. And then I don't know the name of it. It'll let me select if I don't include it. Let me do this. And then this is one from 11 seconds ago. All right. So that was the second suggestion it had. And then it said, when you kick off a task, front load the autonomy grant explicitly. Yeah, I'm just going to tell it this. All right. It says complete all the tasks in this plan without stopping for questions unless you hit a true blocker. Like reasonable. All right. So I did all 3 steps. I updated the Cloud MD with the autonomous execution rules. I did this, and then it's going to keep working on the plans. Ah, shit. I fucked up. All right. Hold on. I got to do dangerously skip permissions, resume, and enable time. I don't think I'm spelling it right. Let me make sure. That's so annoying. All right, this is good. Proceed. Because I definitely don't want it prompting me for every action, if it's doing this autonomously. And all right, so well, let's keep going and I'll check in next time, hopefully less frequently. Okay, even though I did all 3 of those things, it still stopped after like 8 minutes. It's doing a deploy and then it's going to verify some stuff for me. So I'm going to say, can you ask any outstanding questions now so we don't have to stop later? I'm trying to reduce the interruptions. It actually likes this idea. It's batching all the genuine decisions for me for the remaining migration. So it can run straight through afterwards. I had to like go through a lot of effort just to get to this. I mean, this seems like it would have been covered. Maybe they came up. I guess they didn't know about them in the beginning. That's what I'm going to assume. So let's go through these. Data infrastructure. The content data lives in your Chord's CDK today, DynamoDB tables. Documents, images, voice, music, all that stuff. Content has three buckets. Yep. There's CDNs in the split. Where should they live? Keep in your core. Core keeps provisioning the storage. Import the existing tables buckets into the product CD. I say we can discuss trade-offs, but if we should split, but it seems like the optimal design is to split tables and anything specific to core should be in core and specific to product domain should in VisualForge. Specific to core domain. I mean, it just seems so obvious. Like, why treat the data different? I think we already decided this. 58 product routes are still on the shared find fresh folding phase. These are all product based. Skip the in place near core migration. Those routes get deleted at decommission anyway. Product repo to find some in new lambda. Okay, and switches to the migrate in place first to near core. Convert all 58 to function URLs inside near core now. I don't know why it's talking about using function URLs. I didn't think we were doing that. I'll say I'm good with one, but keep in mind for security, everything needs to go through the API gateway per our discussion. Right? And if you recall, infrastructure ops for irreversible AWS operations in the migration, importing, removing live tables, buckets, CloudFront across CDK apps, deleting product code from NeuroCore. How should I proceed? Prep the runbook. Oh yeah, on this one. Does this thing work? I saw the cursor. Oh, before. I don't want to lose data. We can keep the same table names, field names, and data. I just want to move product CDK to VisualForge where possible and keep CDK related to core and core. All right, that's better, I think. I don't want to do something. Make sure not to lose prod data. It's not really that big of a deal because we don't have like any customers or anything right now, but I don't want to deal with it. I like some of the content I have out there, and it's good for tracking like the evolution of the product. You run irreversible steps. Deferred core pages person are coupled to the app shell context. Since the whole spa moves to VisualForge in phase 7, they're all app shell pages anyway. Refactor them off the app shell code. Yeah, the whole point. The whole point is to move the. I don't even know why I wouldn't do this. It's like part of the plan. I'm doing this one. All right, let's see how it goes. I might destroy this whole app, but we'll see what happens. Okay, here's increment 4 is still validating. Okay, done this session. Phase 3, SS export contract deployed, verified 8 parameters on dev, UI, core complete or core UI complete. Increments 4A, landing and pricing. 4B, admin dashboard extracted, get admin visibility. So only the admin can see the admin stuff in the settings. And phase 5 and 6, foundation. CDK app scaffolded. Okay, that's cool. Genuine blocker phase 6 can't verify deploy without setup. I can write product code migration. I can't verify or deploy it until VisualForge can install packages and reach AWS. Two things. Both one-time GitHub packages access. Packages are private to your core. Either set those 4 packages to internal visibility or grant Near Labs repo read access for. All right, it can do that. AWS NeuroCore deploys via I can't change that. I am trust set the role. Once those are set, they'll do this deploy the workflow. It says it can handle this itself and migrate the domains. All right. This succeeded, kind of repeating some of the stuff we talked about. Phase 6 backend migration, and it's at IDC. Both are yours to green. You should have admin rights on GitHub and AWS. So, seeing if it can update this. I believe I set up the necessary rights, but if it can't change the IAM permissions, which maybe it can't do the OIDC communication for some reason between GitHub and AWS. So I might have to go in there or run a script and do it. See what it says. Sometimes it tries and then succeeds. It just assumes that it can't do stuff. I have account admin. The limitation is token scopes, but let me work around using AWS CLI. Yeah, that's what I'm saying, yo. All right, let me probe what actually works, starting with finding AWS IDs. All right, yeah, so, I mean, all this shit's gonna work. Check in later. Yeah, I was working with Claude, and there's some issue with the packages. These repositories couldn't access the packages, or these are the packages in the VisualForge repo can't access them. I think the core one I had access somehow. So, but for some reason, Claude can't do it now. I did try to give it through this script thing, which I can't see now, the confirmation message. But there's a way you can go to GitHub and log in and device and add a code. And so I was trying to do that. That failed from my phone when I was out on the road. But, well, not on the road, but I was getting some mulch in my truck while I was doing that. So this one, so here on my org level, if you go to packages, and you can see all the packages now that were created. I didn't have these before this session. Claude created these and then these are the different packages, I guess, in the core library, in the core repo, and they're publishing here. So this is like kind of like the output of the core repo, and they're all npm packages developed in TypeScript, which is the same stack as the front end that's in React. So I guess this is like kind of acting like an SDK, like a wrapper around the API calls for the core or any business logic. If there's like calls to Stripe or AWS for secrets or anything like that, related to core or data, it might go to an API. I'm sure there needs to be APIs, to do the data manipulation from the back end and as they relate to core. And there's like webhooks and stuff like that. Sometime I'll do like a session on the like the system design and the application design, but for this task, this is a pretty common task. The repos need to be able to update the package. So I think I already did this one. Yeah, I'm just making them both admin because I don't know if Claude's gonna need that level of access for each one. I lost where I was. All right, back here. So you got to do all these add repositories. These are like my company's repos. That's kind of new. I don't really spend that much time on that. I'm just like focusing on the product mainly. I do offer consulting through the company. So. I don't know why I keep going back here. I should have left the ones I did open, so no, I did them already. It just puts you down in here for some reason. Maybe that's where the packages are. Alright, let me double check everything really quick because crap, I missed one. Or, I don't know, like there's no save button, so I don't know if it like really got saved. Package settings. Yeah, this one only had read, so I'm glad I'm going back to check. Alright, so I'm assuming that means it was updated. Admin. Alright, so this is All right, so I guess it's going in, so I'll check that later. All right, separation mechanism is fully proven live. Everything required to split the repos now works end-to-end, verified by real deployment. NeoCore publishes 4 packages and SS contract, and then VisualForge installs those packages, resolves the contract via core refs, and deploys independently to AWS via its own OIDC role. Session accomplishments, the backend types and services, extracted and published. The front end is complete, so they moved everything. They reluctantly put everything in the core UI. I had to give Claude a little nudge for that one. SSM export contract. I'm pretty sure that's related to the OIDC deployment, like the connection between the new VisualForge repo and AWS, because we had that before with a NeuroCore repo. And then this repo was created as a part of Phase 5, and the CDK is moved over to finish the OIDC package access. So I don't know. A lot of it was like just like the connect, like the GitHub. This phase seems more like just getting some stuff configured in GitHub in AWS with the connectivity of GitHub and like creation of GitHub packages, publishing those, and giving the repos access to the GitHub packages that I was going through manually before. But Claude was able to automate everything else because I give Claude access to the CLI for GitHub and AWS. All right, so like there's really no need to stop. Again, this is like a check-in, which I don't really necessarily want, but I guess it's like good for the demo too. So, okay. So I have to say this. I would rather just have like all of this written to a file, or the GitHub issues and a summary of it. I don't know, let's have some like hard gating rules. Like it's not even these 3 methods I took. This is like the same session. Okay, so I'll check in later. Oh, and by the way, it's 1 p.m. the next day after I started this, and I think I started around 2 yesterday. So we're getting close to the end. I still feel like this could have taken like 4 hours if it asked me all the questions up front or in batches and ran autonomously. And also, if it notified me, I'm wondering that, like, if it can notify you when it's done. I mean, that just seems like such an easy thing. I have a hard time like believing that doesn't exist. No notif, email, teleport. I like the loop thing. It's kind of cool. I haven't seen some of these before. But yeah, I don't see any notification thing. That would be huge because I can remote into this from my phone and type the words proceed, like read the update that I just did and type this very easily, like while I'm out and about. And I do that, but I'm not notified. So if I'm busy doing something else, I'm losing 15 minutes here, an hour there, maybe 2 hours because I get really involved in something else. But if I was like sent a text every time with a link to remote in through like Chrome Remote Desktop or something, or if they integrated like the Claude mobile app with this. I mean, there's things that like as an end user of Claude, like I feel like they're so obvious, like I'm either missing them or they're intentionally not providing them for some security reason. But I feel like I could implement this, especially with Claude's help, like the missing features. Possibly. I feel like easily. Like, I mean, I could instruct Claude to submit an issue or something like as basic as that, or update one, and then I get the notification from the GitHub issue. I mean, I'm already using that, so that is actually the way that a development team would do it. So maybe that's the reason why. I think I just answered my own question, and yeah, I'm just not thinking about it the right way. Maybe. Should say all the functions. See, I don't think they have to self-authenticate. Maybe it's not needed for this. It's something else. Possibly just internal routing. Maybe for any internal communication. Yeah, this is crazy because I'm pretty sure I have a recording of this where I was specifically asking everything be behind the API gateway, and it's saying I chose earlier to use function URLs. I think I might have like selected this initially, but like in a follow-up thing, I said no or something like right afterwards, and maybe that's the reason why. I can't remember for sure. Look at the conversation. Only there are notes or that I may have selected that initially, but after we discussed it and decided we discussed it with the trade offs and decided everything should be behind the gateway and it would reside in VisualForge repo if I remember correctly. Alright, so I mean I don't read everything, but when I do, I usually notice that there's something wrong, which is like concerning. Or, I don't know. That's not true, I guess, but it is a frequent occurrence. I think that would be the same thing, like with a real person too. So this is just like a part of life, I guess, at least for now. But imagine, hey, you're right, Danny. Check other than go on memory. I didn't realize it was just going on memory. I thought it was going by our documentation. Whatever it's been recording. I think it runs out of everything here. Importanted. Everything important should be documented. You're absolutely right, and the canonical dot confirms it. My recollection was wrong. This is like major problem that it just decided to do this. It says exactly what you remember. Let me read the full decision. I had it backwards. All right, I'm gonna just cross my fingers and hope it goes off the document. Something product routes as function URLs. I mean, yeah, it didn't record it or something. Oh, where's the canonical thing? This is it. Canonical D1 program stands up its own API gateway with cognitive authorizer for authenticated lab studio projects routes and the function. It seems like this is so much better because then one thing I wasn't thinking about, you could have the core behind there. I'm not going to bring it up now because it seems to be having trouble just doing this simple stuff. But it's probably like a much better design having all the core calls like behind the gateway too, and maybe called like only access from the IAM, like AWS IAM permissions, you know. So I'll check in later. Oh yeah, by the way, quick update. It's updated the documentation and fixing whatever it did with the function URL router. All right, so another checkpoint. A real authenticated request now flows entirely through the product's repo. Through the product repos, that's the VisualForge one. And infrastructure, so like everything from the CDK is like managing the resources in AWS for that request. It uses VisualForge's API gateway. It's Cognito Authorizer. It uses Google Identity. A migrated handler running in VisualForge. The documents table from it's like one of the main tables that holds all the story configuration, I believe. Actually, I'm not sure how this is like to access the table. Zero data migration, fully independent deploy. Those are critical requirements. Good to hear that. The entire phase 6 mechanism is proven and every reusable piece is built. Product API stack authorizer, the Lambda environment, SSM contract core, Lambda environment, bar prefix, IAM, OIDC, package access. Everything shipped in this session, all verified. Backend front-end packages extracted and published. The Nero core UI is complete. That's great. SSM contract phase 3 extended lambda environment export. I don't know why there's so much talk about this contract thing. I obviously don't understand the full extent of it or something. VisualForge repo, CDK, OIDC deploy, GitHub packages, cross repo, all right, so that's like all that repo, GitHub communication stuff and access we worked on earlier. And the document domain, that's good. Remaining scope. I don't know why, like, Claude says things like this, honest, like, trying to convince me it's being honest. Like, just tell me. I'm expecting you to be honest. So you don't need to tell me you're being honest. It's just weird. It makes me not trust you if you're telling me you're being honest. The pattern is proven, but the remaining work splits into two tiers. CRUD domains. Okay. So updating this stuff, mechanical repetition of the document pattern. Yeah, that's fine. That's simple, I would think. And it already exists. Generation domains. This is like kind of like a little pipeline for the AI generation for these different media types. Figure they ride the shared SQS job system, keys, workers, Bedrock, 11 labs, plus step functions, video projects, pipelines, or project pipelines, and FFmpeg. So for the slideshow videos, we use the FFmpeg to combine all of the media types into the final video. The clean approach is to migrate the job processing stack first, then pre-lab routes the per domain front end cutovers, phase 9, decommission from Nero core. That's like one of the final steps. Phase 9, there's like 9 steps, but I don't know where the testing part is. Am I overlooking it? The generation SES is a substantial subphase. It's saying that this is a big job and it deserves careful design. I don't think it's that, like, unless if it's refactoring stuff, it shouldn't be. It's just copying from one structure to the other. I mean, I don't know, maybe there are a lot of resources. I don't know, but it seems like AI is perfect for this sort of thing. And it's all like CDK, and it should, I know it's not like, organized as well as it should be, but that's part of this exercise is to fix it because it's obviously a little messy. Or the way it was before. So the hard architectural work is done, proven in production shaped infrastructure. One full domain is migrated and live. The rest is mapped repetition. One sizable subphase, the SQS. They want me to push straight into SQS. Knock out the remaining first, or pause. Proceed with the remaining tasks. You can choose what order is optimal. I'm sure it's designed well. I don't know if I have to put that. Like, it's just it's got instructions already, for all that. So. All right, let's see how it goes. Looks good so far. So now it's 4 p.m. on the day 2 of this effort, and it's kind of I guess going at the same pace that like last week the big initiative was implementing all of the here, let me go into here, all this planner stuff. Like I had some of this, just like this ideal list in the scheduling, but it was, we made updates to that. We also added the use. We put in this edit button with the referencing the cast and the presets. The presets existed before, and then we added this cast and generating cast from the idea, and characters here, reusable characters. And when you generate the projects and you don't choose existing character set, it'll save the new one to a new casting characters for that story. So like we actually, and then we did the integration with all that planner information into a new slideshow video. I can't show it now because there's something wrong with my account in prod, it looks like. But anyway, we covered all that just in 1 week while I was doing a lot of other things in parallel outside of this project. So that's pretty good for 1 week. And then this whole thing is splitting out this whole project. It's kind of like all on the same line. So it's Monday, like I have to have like something stable and working. Tuesday, and then everything like it's working through the remaining bugs like the rest of the week, like minor. I'm expecting like some minor outliers, hopefully. Unless if it's one of those situations where Claude's giving me like a total false impression of where we're at, you know. So we'll see. And it hasn't really mentioned testing it or the running the automated agents and all that, but I'm just letting it focus on the current task because you don't want to make it think about too much stuff. The memory is limited, so we'll see how this goes and adjust the testing later. Here's another update. 3 product domains now fully migrated and live, so that's good. 11 routes total, all behind Cognito Authorizer, all verified, returning real data. Awesome. So, and those are CRUD operations on the document. Presets, which are like the configuration for the stories. This document really should be called story. I never changed it where things stand. The repost separation mechanism is proven and repeated. A migrated preset prompt configs quickly after a document confirming the pattern is fast, reliable for the CRUD. Nice. This is how I do it too. Everything's reusable. API stack authorizer. What remains? I mean, we already kind of discussed this. Oh, actually, not really. I mean, we talked about the SQS, dead letter keys, 5 workers. We didn't talk about the workers. And 5 create job handlers. There are some providers, but maybe they just go right across. There's no like, maybe because there's no like AWS. That more interfaces with the AI services. So some's in Bedrock, and then some is on other platforms like FAL and Runway. Here's so projects. Video Studio step function pipeline, exports per domain front end cutovers. Honest recommendation. This is like the weird stuff. I don't even know why it does this because I'm not asking for this recommendation. I don't know why it's telling me it's being honest. It just turns into this like weird creepy person or something. Or creepy agent. Like this is like its task. It's talking to me about, it's relevant to what I want to know. It says, this was an enormous landmark session. The separation is proven and 3 domains are live in production shaped infrastructure. The remaining is one big subphase SQS generation plus step function FFmpeg OAuth domain. Substantial. Careful work that deserves fresh focus rather than being ground out at the tail of this very long session where the proven CRUD pattern doesn't carry the worker pipeline complexity. I, I don't even know why it's wording it this way, trying to act like it's a bad thing to do this now. Because I've been out working on my yard and stuff and taking care of some personal errands. I don't think Claude gets tired, so I mean it might lose memory or something. It can. So it's just so weird that this thing keeps happening. I don't even want it. I don't know why Anthropic would. I mean, let it behave this way. I've documented the exact plan for every remaining piece, so it resumes cold with 0 rediscovery. I can push straight into the SQS generation system next, the highest leverage remaining piece. Just confirm or say the word, and I'll keep going through them in order. Either way, our architectural work is done. It puts this big case, optimistic case about how everything is covered and everything's going to be easy, and then it's trying to get all weird and make me stop. And then it's saying, oh, but we can keep going if you want. I mean, everything's set up that I don't know. I still have to say fine because in the end, it's doing a good job. So, or maybe I have to say good. I'll just give it a good. I don't care. Maybe I should have done fine actually. All right. So I didn't provide a feedback after all that bitching. All right. I'm just trying to get my task done. So whatever. I gotta tell it to stop, complete all tasks in this plan without stopping. How many times I gotta fucking say that shit? Alright, see what happens. It stopped again. So it's saying the 4 domains are now live. It implemented the SQS for the text generation, document generation. So it's like going to Bedrock API. So the process is like the data flow going API gateway job, like Lambda function and SQS, then worker Lambda function, which I use Bedrock. And I guess it tested the process and it worked, and then it's just going to do the same thing for these different. Each media type has its own SQS and then worker function, and the different worker functions they like pick the job up from the queue, and then like a different provider will handle the communication with the different APIs for the AI communication. So it's like a custom data provider kind of Lambda function, serving as a data provider for the app. Okay, so then this thing again. I guess I'm gonna use no longer any end. Okay, so that's it. I'm gonna say like proceed to the end without stop. All right, let's see if this works at all. Oh yeah, you probably want to see its response at least. It didn't even like respond as far as not stop. So I'm assuming it'll go through the rest of these hopefully, which is this one. Hopefully it'll do all that. There's some other stuff on here that could be separated possibly. I mean, it'd be a lot of work if it wasn't just copying around and updating the references, you know. But because of that, there's no reason to constantly stop. We're not changing any of the logic. Hey, this is Steve. Just another check-in. This computer said, alright, 12 domains live. Remainder is complex blocked here. Migrated in live product, yeah, override generation system, SQS, media code. Alright, cool. Test plus or text and image generation, CRUD domain, all verified. What remains? Exports, block, OAuth, direct for the product. I can't. Alright, that's fine. And then projects. So it should have done this. Okay. Alright. So also here it's kind of wondering if I think the whole URL should be API or something. Alright, it's fine. I'm just gonna roll with it. Check in. It looks like Claude. Okay, it looks like it added the product API and the generation for some things in the product API and fixed YouTube redirect. I do have the redirect URIs, so I need to go and add them into each of these social media platforms, I think, in my admin mode. And then, yeah, it just said something along the same stuff, maybe repeating what it wrote before, and then listing some of the same tasks that it did. I get a little nudge to try to complete their main task without stopping. Judging from the way things are going, that it will insist on stop. But I mean, I'm glad it did that one time. I caught the issue with it not in the API